Hello, counting enthusiasts. How are you today? I hope you are in a good condition so we can learn together today. Today, we're gonna talk about conceptual framework for financial reporting. The material is taken from the book Intermediate Accounting IFRS 4th edition by Kiso Weigan Warfield. First, we talk about conceptual framework. The conceptual framework itself is a coherent system of concepts that flow from objectives. These objectives identify the objectives of financial reporting. Why do we need a conceptual framework? First, a good conceptual framework allows the IASB to issue more useful and consistent statements over time, resulting in a coherent mix of standards. Second, as a result of a well-developed conceptual framework, the profession should be able to more quickly solve new and emerging practical problems with reference to the existing basic theoretical framework. Elements in financial statement, namely asset, liabilities, equity, income, and expense. Third, it identifies the IASB and FASB currently working on a joint project to develop a good common conceptual framework and provide a solid basis for developing future accounting standards. The new framework will build on the existing IASB and FASB basic frameworks and take into account future developments following publication of the basic frameworks. Next is an overview of the conceptual framework. This conceptual framework has three levels. The first level is to identify the purpose of financial reporting and its use. The second level of the conceptual framework describes the qualitative characteristics that make accounting information useful and contains elements of financial statement. Furthermore, the third level contains recognition, measurement, and disclosure concepts used in the formation and application of accounting standards and certain other concepts to carry out objectives. First level objective of financial report. The objective of general purpose financial reporting is to provide financial information about the reporting entity that is useful to current and potential equity investors, lenders, and other creditors for making decisions in their capacity as providers of capital. At the second level, there are qualitative characteristics and elements of financial report. There is two qualitative characteristics of financial statement: fundamental qualities and enhancing qualities. Fundamental qualities consist relevant and faithful representation. First, relevant. Information must be relevant and also provide an accurate representation of what is being represented if it's to be useful. A. Predictive value. Financial information helps to provide a more predictive picture of conditions that will occur in the future. B. Confirmatory value. The information disclosed must be objective and trustworthy. Confirmatory value also helps users confirm or correct their expectation. C. Materiality. Materiality is an analysis process carried out regarding how important the existence of an account is in the financial statement. Whether an account is important enough to carry out the company's operation or the account is not material enough so the company ignores it. Second, faithful representation. So that accounting information is useful for decision making. Faithful representation is fundamental element. Related elements of fundamental quality and description of numbers match what is happening. Faithful representation divided into three characteristics. A. Completeness. All the information necessary for a faithful representation should be provided. B. Neutrality. where the company does not disclose information aimed at one side interest but based on mutual needs. C. Free from error. Expresses information that is free from error so that it can be presented accurately and fairly. Enhancing qualities. Enhancing qualities consists of 4 qualities. The first one is comparability. Comparability consists information that is measured and reported in a similar manner for a different companies is considered comparable. That's why accounting needs a standard so the potential investor could compare one's financial statement with others. Second is verifiability. Verifiability occurs when independent measures, using the same methods, obtain similar results. So the result is verified. If using the same method but obtain different results means the information is not verified enough. The third is timeliness. Timeliness means having information available to decision makers before it loses its capacity to influence decision. For example, if today is 2023, a company should provide financial statement of 2022. The fourth is understandability. Understandability is the quality of information that lets reasonably informed users see its significance. Asset, resources that are managed by an entity and have growing economic value. Liabilities, obligation that need to be paid in the past by the entity. Equity, the depreciation value in an entity's asset after deducting liabilities. Income, cash inflow either to business result or investor. Expenses, cost or decrease in economic value that occur in financial components. The third level is recognition, measurement, and disclosure concept. On this third level, there is 3 topics. First is assumption, the second is principles, and the third is constraints. First, assumption. There are several types of assumption. First, economic entity assumption. Economic entity assumption is the underlying assumption that in accounting, each economic entity, such as a company, must be treated as a separate entity that has independent economic activities. Number 2 is going concern assumption. Going concern assumption is an assumption that assumes that the business entity will continue to operate within a predictable period of time, so that financial statements are prepared with the assumption that the business will operate as usual. Number 3 is monetary unit and assumption. Is an assumption that implies that all economic transaction and event must be measured and reported in a single currency, such as dollar or euros. Number 4 is periodicity or time period assumption. Is an assumption that assumes that business and financial activities can be divided into fixed time period, for example, fiscal years or a quarter, for the preparation of financial reports. With this, financial reports can be prepared regularly, allowing monitoring of financial performance over time as well as comparison between different periods. Number 5. Accrual basis accounting is an accounting method where transactions are recorded when they occur, not just when physical money changes hands. It reflects the income earned and liabilities held, even if the money has not actually flowed. This method provides a more accurate, real-time financial picture, allowing for better performance monitoring and prediction of financial issues than the cash method, which only records transactions when cash changes in the hand. In general, we use four basic accounting principles to record and report transactions: measurement principle, the revenue recognition principle, the expense recognition principle, and the full disclosure principle. The first recognition principle is the historical cost principle, which means recording and reporting on the basis of the acquisition price. Historical cost is generally considered an exact representation of the amount paid for a particular item. IASB established a fair value hierarchy that provides insight into the priority evaluation technique to use to determine fair value. The first level is very objective, means observable input that reflect quoted price for identical asset or liabilities in active market. The second level needs to input other than quoted price included in level 1 that are observable for the asset or liabilities either directly or through collaboration with observable data. And the third level is the most subjective, contains unobservable inputs, for example, a company's own data or assumption. Second, revenue recognition principle. When a company agrees to provide a service or sell a product to a customer, the company has a performance obligation. Company recognize revenue in the accounting period in which the performance obligation is satisfied. There are several steps in revenue recognition. First is identify the contract or agreement that has been made with the customer. Second is identification of the separation of implementation of obligations stated in the contract. For example, if a customer orders more than one product or requests more than one service. The third is determine or calculate the price for the transaction. The fourth is don't forget to determine the price for each separate item. And the last one is the company can recognize revenue when the transaction is complete. Third, expense recognition principle. Expenses are the outflow or use of asset or the incurrence of liabilities during a period as a result of the delivery or production of goods and or provision of service. Costs are generally classified into two groups, namely product costs and period costs. Product costs, such as raw material, labor, and factory overhead, will be charged to the product. Companies move this cost to future period if they recognize revenue from this product in subsequent period. Meanwhile, period costs, such as employee salaries and other administrative and selling costs, are charged to the period concerned. Companies expend this cost in the immediate period, even though any benefit associated with those costs may occur in the future. Why? Because the company cannot determine a direct relationship between period cost and income. The last is full disclosure principle. Companies must provide information that users can understand and must present information that is important enough to influence the judgment and decision of information users. This information is conveyed through financial statement, notes to the financial statement, and supplementary information. And the last component of third level is cost constraint. company must weigh the cost of providing the information against the benefit that can be derived from using it. Rule-making bodies and governmental agencies use cost-benefit analysis before making final their informational requirement. In order to justify requiring a particular measurement or disclosure, the benefit perceived to be derived from it must exceed the cost perceived to be associated with it.